Hi, this is Crafting Lisa, and I'm back tonight with a tutorial on how to make a slip knot, a slip stitch, and a single crochet. I have a few items that I just wanted to go over with you. For example, this yarn needle is something that's very essential when you're working with yarn. You can see that the eye of the needle is larger so that yarn will fit through it. It's got a very nice point on the end so it can work its way through tight yarn. I prefer using this to weave in the ends of my work when I'm either while I'm working or when I'm finished my project. There is a magic knot that you can make, which is a very small knot. There's two different ways to do it, which we will get into in another episode. So there's a magic knot and there's a Russian method, which I find a little bit smoother, even though it's a little more complicated. It's definitely a little smoother. There's no knot involved. For example, you wouldn't want any knots when you're making a baby clothes or baby items, because newborns have very sensitive skins and children have very sensitive skin. Also, if you're lying on a blanket or a pillow, you don't want any knots to irritate you. So I find for myself, I prefer to weave in my ends, and that works best for me. Also, what I wanted to show you today was these two stitch markers. There's a large size and a small size. They're made out of plastic, and this is important because they look very much like a safety pin. Actually, they work very much like a safety pin. And indeed, I used to use the safety pin. However, one time there was some rust on that pin, which then transferred to my project. So it wasn't a very good idea. I think that these stitch markers, which the patterns will tell you to put at the end of a round or beginning of a round, so you mark your spot and you know your count of your rows or stitches. This is the stitch marker to use. I won't be using pins, aluminum pins anymore. One more item here that I want to share is this yarn tension ring. And I don't know if you can see it too well here. What you do is you put it on your finger like this. I'll put my glasses on so I can see. Put it on your finger like this. And the yarn goes in here. Let's kind of get this on camera. The yarn goes in through that space there. And then it goes in through the other space. And the yarn just pulls through. Oops, came out. And it just pulls through. And what it does is it's a tension for your yarn tension. It takes some of the fatigue away from your hand. So I'm thinking it would be good not just for beginners, but for people with fibromyalgia like myself or arthritis. It makes your tension more consistent. And if you put it towards the inside of your finger, like so, it gives you a little tighter tension. And if you put it towards the top of your finger, it's coming out on me here. If you put it towards the top of your finger, it makes your tension a little bit looser. So it's a good item to have, not very expensive, and it's worth easing up on that hand fatigue. I mentioned crochet hooks. I've been mentioning crochet hooks usually by millimeter, but some patterns and some hooks also are marked by letter. For example, a B hook is equal to 1 millimeter and a U hook is equal to 25 millimeters. So if you just Google crochet hook size chart, you'll come up with the whole list from B to U and the different millimeters that they're equal to or vice versa. If you have millimeters and you need to know the letter for a pattern, you'll find it on these charts very easily. Those are just a couple of items I wanted to mention today. We'll be doing more product reviews, and I just also wanted to share these nice little booties and this little hat, baby hat, that I crocheted very quickly. They were very easy to make, and I thought that they could be one of the projects that we do once we've got down a few of the stitches down pat. We've practiced, then we can move on to this. And also there will be product giveaways, as I've mentioned. This will be one of them. If you're interested, please let me know down in the comments below. So I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see the table that I'm working on here. We're going to start with this yellow yarn, which I thought was nice and bright and you'd be able to see it fairly easily. So to make a slip knot for your hook, and I'm using a size 8 millimeter hook because I thought it would be easiest to see as well. So you take your piece of yarn and you have the tail end here, which is what I call the tail end, and then the end that's attached to the ball of yarn still. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take the tail end, we're going to wrap it around, bring it over on top of the yarn and make a circle here. You can see the circle. Now let's take that tail and just, let me move this down a little bit here, just put that tail above that circle like so. What we're going to do now is pick that circle up and put it on top of the tail end so that the tail end goes right through the middle, but underneath, of course, the circle is on top. Take our crochet hook and place it under that tail end, as you can see. Grab the two ends of yarn and pull it in opposite directions. And there you have your first stitch on your hook. I'll do it one more time in case you didn't get that. So we take our yarn, take our tail, we'll bring it over and make a little circle. Make a little circle for it. Put that tail along the top of the circle. Pick the circle up and put it on top of the tail. We'll take our crochet hook, pass it under the tail yarn, grab our two ends, opposite ends, and pull them opposite directions. And there you have your first stitch. Now, holding your hook, I'm right-handed, so it's all going to be right-handed for me. Just reverse it if you're left-handed. So the crochet hook is in your right hand. My middle finger and thumb are holding the knot, or this first stitch here where it's knotted. The yarn is wrapped, the other end of the yarn is wrapped around my index finger, and it's keeping the tension. And these fingers help hold the yarn as well, so it helps hold the tension as well. What we're going to do is we're going to take our hook, we're going to go not the opposite way, but towards the yarn, towards the inside of my hand. We're going to use the peaky part to wrap around the yarn, like so. We're going to twist it back towards my hand and pull through the loop. And do it again, and this is how we make our chain. So we've got the loop on the hook, we've got the yarn taut in our hand. We take the hook, put it towards the inside of your hand, not the opposite way, but you're going towards the yarn. Put that peak part around, turn it towards your hand, and through the loop. So that's how we make a chain. Now I'm going to show you the chain. When you're starting your work and you have to work with the chain, you can see through the chain there's 3 different yarns. There's your top loop, there's your middle thread, and then there's your bottom thread. You can see that? What you want to do is get your hook between the middle and the bottom. And that's the hole where you're going to put your hook through. So I'm just going to put through here. Now, I'm going to grab the yarn, pull it through that hole. Now you've got 2 loops on your hook. What you're going to do is wrap the yarn around again and pull it through, and you have a single crochet. But I suppose before a single crochet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet this whole bottom row so that we'll be working with stitches. Might be easier to see than working through the chain. So we get to the end of the chain. What do? We turn our work. Sometimes we join it if we're doing something round, but I'm going to turn this. You can see I made a nice little chain. On the top of the chains are some V's. You can see it's like a V right there, a round V, but a V. So you don't go in through here. Where you're going in through is the side. This side has a hole. So not through the V, but through the side of the stitch. You can see better with this one. There's your V on the top. There's the hole that you're going to stick your hook through. Right through the side. Now I showed a single crochet. I think I should show a slip stitch first. So you've got your 1 loop on your hook. You put it through your stitch. You grab the yarn, pull through, and then pull through that 1 loop that was on your hook. That's a slip stitch. There's no using of the yarn after you've pulled through. So a slip stitch again. You've got your 1 loop on the hook, you put it through your stitch, grab your yarn, pull through the stitch and pull through the loop. Slip stitch. Your single crochet I'll show again. What you do is you've got your 1 loop on the hook. You're going to put through your stitch, going to grab that yarn, pull it through, and instead of pulling through the loop on the hook, you're going to wrap the yarn around and pull through the 2 loops. So that's a single crochet. So you're adding a yarn or a loop from the slip stitch. The next would be a half double crochet. So now what we do with the half double crochet is we would start with the yarn around the hook this time. We go through our stitch, grab the yarn again, pull through the stitch. We've got 3 loops on the hook. We grab the yarn, pull through the 3 loops. That is a half double crochet. So we've got your slip stitch. First we have your slip knot. We've done your slip stitch, we've done a single crochet, we've done a half double crochet. I think that's enough to practice on. And next time we come, we'll do a double crochet and a treble crochet. 2 more stitches that you'll be using. Just bring my camera back up. Here we go. So I hope that you'll join me next time. And as I said, we'll be going through a double crochet and a treble crochet. And once those are practiced, then we can move on and we'll have a video on the magic ring. Intriguing name. Magic ring and the magic knot. The magic ring is another way to pull your work very tight when you're working in the round. But we'll show you a magic ring as well. So we've got a magic ring, magic knot, the Russian method of the magic knot, of joining yarn, So we've got the magic ring, the magic knot, the Russian method of joining yarn without having to weave it in. And we've got a double crochet and a treble crochet. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Some mentioned that they liked the bag, the tote bag that I showed in last week's video. So I'm going to do just a little video on that so you can see the bag again. And the link will be in the description. So if you're interested, there'll be that video as well for you. So take care and remember to like, share, and please subscribe. And we'll be doing some product giveaways, product reviews, and keep on with the knitting and the crocheting. And have a great day.